All right, folks, welcome back. Another teen surfer has been bitten by a shark off New York's Long Island coast, marking the 6th attack in the area this summer. But what is the reason for this uptick in shark attacks and sightings? How can beachgoers remain safe this summer?
I'm very happy that we don't have to try to guess. We're going to ask the experts. Please welcome in President and CEO of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, Tom Schmid, and National Spokesperson for the American Lifeguards Association, Wyatt Werneth. Welcome to Wake Up America to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, Tom, my biggest fear, I will say, has always been sharks. I think it has something to do with Jaws, and I know a lot of other people have that. For me, it is the idea that you can be in the water, even if you're not deep, even if you're not a surfer, and you just don't know what might come. And that scares me, that feeling comes. So when I hear these stories, and when you hear that there is an uptick in shark sightings, I just want to know why. What can cause this, Tom?
Well, there's any number of things that can cause it. First of all, at the end of the day, you've got a lot of people going to the beach every day, and we have to remember that is the shark habitat. So I think you said we've seen 5 or 6 sightings and shark bites this summer. Probably a little bit of an uptick, but again, if you normalize that over the last probably 20, 25 years, I don't think it's probably out of the ordinary. And again, we're in a habitat that is normally residing full of sharks. So we just have to remember that whenever we go in the ocean, there's always going to be some risk. I think, again, though, if you think about the millions of people that are going to the beach every day along the East Coast of the United States, the chances of you having an interaction with the shark is still extremely, extremely low.
Yeah, but Wyatt, fortunately, we have the government, and the government is going to swoop in and try to keep swimmers safe from the world's oldest predator. What steps are they taking right now?
Well, it depends where you are. In places like Australia and South Africa, where you have a high incidence of white sharks, which are much more deadly.
Tom, I want to get Wyatt's take on this real quick.
Yeah.
Sure. Sorry.
Hey guys, thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, actually, when there's more people, there's going to be more shark encounters. So we are busy. One of the things that we developed a few years ago is a flag system. It's like a stoplight. A green means it's okay. Yellow means caution. Red means don't go in the water.
Get out.
We added the blue flag, which is marine life. So if you see a blue flag, that's one way that we warn you that there's some kind of marine life in the water. If it's a shark, it's a red flag and a blue flag.
That's interesting. A pretty clear system there.
I feel like that's the right thing. Be like, guys, there's nothing we can do about this. We got a 3,000-pound ball of muscle with teeth.
And if you choose to go in, then go in. But then at least you're aware, and it's not surprised. All right, Tom. So as you mentioned, when anyone goes in the ocean, we realize we're going into the shark's home, to their environment. Also, we're seeing the small number of attacks, which sounds high because it is a scary thing. But also, I know that there are so many drones that catch so many swimmers out there with sharks swimming amongst them, and there are no attacks. But if you are one of those very, very rare situations and you do come in contact with a shark, what is the immediate thing you should do? I always like to have a plan when I go in.
Yeah, so if you find yourself confronting a shark, and particularly in shallow water, and you've heard this from some of the people that this has happened to, any kind of striking, any kind of hit that you can do to the head of the shark, that's where the shark is most sensitive. All of the sensory tissue, so to speak, on the shark is located around the head, around the snout. They're very sensitive. So anything that you can do to strike the shark in the region of the head, I think will send a clear signal to that shark. You're not a prey item. You're not a fish. Typically, in the case on the East Coast, it's mistaken identity. The sharks are in the water. There may be schooling fish nearby. They bite, but typically they realize pretty quickly you're not a fish, and they release. But anything you can do to strike a shark near its head region, near its eyes, that will tend to get the shark to move away.
Is that the ampullae of Lorenzini? Is that what it is?
That's an SAT word. I'm not familiar.
Exactly.
Wyatt, I spent a little bit of time in the water over the years, and one time before we do these swims out San Clemente Island for the final stage of Buds, they show you these shark attack videos, and then they throw you in a kelp field in the middle of the night off the coast of California, and they say, if you see a shark, just like what Tom said, just punch it in the nose, it'll be fine. And I was like, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, you're a lifeguard. What do you do if you see someone get hit by a shark overseas? Like, what do you do? What does the rest of the beach do? What would be your advice if you had a megaphone at the time of one of these attacks?
Oh, we do have megaphones, yes, sir. But if we do see any kind of shark encounter, first off, lifeguards are preventative. We try to check the waters, look around, be very vigilant if we know that the sharks are in the area, and we get everyone out of the water. We blow whistles, we put up the flags, and we start clearing the water. That's the one thing that'll get people out of the water faster than anything is there's a shark in the water. If we had someone that was attacked, we'd have to go into precautions. Of course, we don't want to swim into harm's way. That's something that we ask lifeguards individually. You know, it's not our protocol. You don't have to go, but some guys who are, and it's happened, overly heroic will still swim out, and the lifeguard will punch the shark off of the victim and get them out of the water. So it's just something that's kind of a call. That has happened in the past. Where there's been a shark attack in the lifeguard.
Whoever did that is awesome. They're invited to my birthday party.
All right, Tom Schmid, Wyatt Werneth, really, really great insight. Thanks so much.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.